Hello. I'm afraid this is going to be a bit of a rant video because I want to take this opportunity to address something which has been painfully evident in the 9+ years that I've been making videos here on YouTube, which is the fact that I am someone who says, just naturally in the course of my speech. Every once in a while I will say, and that's just something about the way that I talk and is something that I'm reminded of every time I go back to edit any of my videos before uploading or rewatching any of my old videos. I know I say and periodically I get comments about this where someone will say, it really annoys me the way that you say or I really like your videos, but it would be great if you could be a bit more careful about the way that you talk. And just yesterday, I got a comment on an older review video of mine about Our London Lives, where the viewer commented, "Thanks for the review, but you need to mute or edit out all your ums and uhs, verbal tics which occur at great frequency while you're talking, as they interfere with listening to your review. Maybe elocution lessons from a professional will help to rid you of this distracting speech habit." And I read this comment after having quite a bad day, and so I just felt this kind of crushing sense of, oh gosh, I need to go to elocution lessons, which I know many people will say the viewer is just pointing this out to you. It's not a massive deal, but after 9+ years of making videos like this and having got so many comments like this, it kind of builds up, and I just want to make it clear I am aware of this, and partly I appreciate bluntly honest comments like this. It lets me know what people are really thinking as they're watching my videos and why they probably stop watching my videos quite often. And naturally, you might think, well, if you're so aware of this, why don't you do something about it? And I have tried to do something about it. I've not gone for professional elocution lessons, I'm sorry, but I have watched videos about this very common verbal tic that so many people have, which naturally occurs if you're speaking and in the course of speaking, while you're trying to think about what you want to say next to fill in that silence, or if you're trying to recall a specific name or word for something, you might just naturally go, and there are certain practices that can help someone to get over this or do it a lot less, of trying to be conscious of when your mouth is open. If you are speaking and then you are thinking about what you're going to say next, rather than filling that silence with the of closing your lips and really consciously closing your lips and not making any sound. Because yes, it makes it more impactful listening to someone that if they don't fill all of the silences with these kind of verbal tics, because it just makes them seem nervous or uncertain, and it's distracting and annoying. And yeah, I know that, and I've tried to work on it, and I think I'm better than I used to be about it, but it still happens. And I think it happens more frequently when I'm making videos rather than just speaking in real life, although I'm sure I do it in real life as well. But when making videos, there's a kind of self-consciousness to that. I'm aware that I'm being filmed, that every single thing I say is being recorded, and that still makes me nervous. Even though I've been making videos for 9+ years, you would think I would just get over it, but I can't help at my mind getting blocked sometimes, and rather than just sitting there silently waiting to go on to the next thing, I will say, and yes, of course, this is something that can be edited out from my videos, and I have been doing that more frequently. Although then sometimes I will get comments saying, oh, there are so many breaks in your videos. It makes it seem really artificial and juddering. And so then I think, well, okay, if I can't edit out all of the ums that I have in my videos, then I have to go back and refilm what I want to say about this book. And when I try to refilm, it will naturally happen again. And so do I just refilm endlessly or should I go to professional elocution lessons to try to iron this out of my speech habit? And it goes to a larger issue, I think, of well, how polished do we want our videos here on YouTube to be? Because I always felt like part of the joy and pleasure of YouTube is that you are getting these kind of spontaneous at-home reactions and discussions from people, or at least, for videos about books and sort of normal everyday readers like me that just want to talk about what I'm reading and discuss it with other readers. There's a pleasure of seeing people in the home discussing this. And there was several years ago, YouTube tried to start a professional booktube channel where they got some of the larger booktubers like Ariel Bissett and brought them into a studio and had them interviewing authors like Michelle Obama. And that didn't really work because it was in this stripped down, really anonymous environment, and it was all very carefully edited, carefully lit, and very formalized, and that kind of sucked a lot of the joy and pleasure out of it. And so if I wanted to correct my speech to the degree in which I never say but also why not correct all the other things that people helpfully point out to me in comments of like, oh, your beard is getting gray, maybe you want to dye that so it's maybe you want to better trim your beard so you appear better on camera, you should really fix the sound, you should really fix your lighting, and I tried to make some improvements with these things, but I feel like the real essence of what I'm talking about is the books that I want to discuss. That is the real important thing. And I know if I want to sort of scale up and get a bigger channel and get more views, which of course I do. I think anyone who makes videos online wants to do that. If I'm taking the trouble of putting it out there, I want people to watch it. And so, yes, I do want to make improvements to make the viewing experience better. But at the same time, I don't want to have to take 6 months or a year off to try to perfect everything about myself and my presentation in the way that I'm talking about books in order to just talk about this book that I just read the other day and that I want to have a casual chat about. And I have not responded to this comment that was left yesterday, although if I did, I would probably comment saying, actually, it's it should be spelled YOU''RE, and maybe before you make a comment, you want to go back to university or have a class to teach you about how to use grammar. Because if you're going to make a comment, then you shouldn't have these incorrections in the grammar of your comments. And yeah, that might sound really harsh, but also a comment like this feels really harsh to me, especially after I've had a bad day, to then go and think, I want to get back to my happy space of talking about books with people online. And then this is the first comment I see of someone saying, you should go to elocution lessons. And I know it is just being bluntly honest, and yes, that is helpful in a way. And of course, it's very difficult to judge the tone of comments. And this person could have really been really wanting to be helpful and not to be rude. And yeah, maybe that is the case. But I feel like there is a different standard online with how we communicate with each other than we do in person. If you came up to me and you told me about a book that you had read recently and you were really passionate about, and you talked about that book for like 20 minutes or so to me, and then my only response was, Oh, you say quite a lot as you're speaking. You might want to go to elocution lessons. And then I turned around and walked away. Wouldn't that be rude? Wouldn't that be considered rude? And I know there's a different standard and style of communication online than there is in person, but I sometimes wonder why. Why should there be this different standard? Because if you're watching somebody's video and it's clear that they are just someone who's at home talking about something that they're passionate about, and you leave such a clipped comment like this, isn't that, don't you have some kind of self-consciousness about this feeling rude to me? And I've had this said to me, things like this said to me in person before. I used to be so quiet, would speak so low, no one could ever understand me or hear what I was talking about. Early on, when I first came to London, and I was still writing fiction for myself, and I saw that there was a fiction writing group, and I thought, oh, this is great. I want to go and try to meet other people who are writers and share my writing and read other people's writing, and maybe we can help each other. And which is quite a big thing for me to go to somewhere where I don't know anybody. I'm just putting myself out there, wanting to meet other people. And so I did this, and there was a portion of the evening where everyone went around and read a piece of writing that they had created recently. And so it got to me, and I read out my story, and yeah, I probably read it quite quietly and stuttered a lot while I was reading it. And at the end of this, one of the people around the group said, I'm not going to comment on anything that you wrote, and I didn't even really hear it because you spoke so low. You seem so embarrassed to be reading your fiction out loud that I didn't take any of it at all in. And I know a professional speech therapist that I would recommend that you go to. And I left that evening feeling completely crushed. I was so self-conscious and upset and thinking, gosh, I'm so awkward and quiet, and so until I fix that, I should just stay inside it and not speak to anyone and share anything. And it's a really difficult thing, and it's something that I know all of us struggle with when trying to negotiate between adjusting the ways that we communicate with other people and just being naturally ourselves. And I think it's especially true for those who are naturally introverted, like me, that find this really difficult, and it feels like quite a big deal to put yourself out there like this. And part of me is like amazed that I still make videos like this, and I think just the whole process of making videos like this does help. It gets me more accustomed to speaking more confidently, raising my voice a bit. And my husband jokes sometimes that he knows when I'm making videos because he can hear that I naturally modify my voice to get louder, or I guess not naturally, but artificially modify my voice, even though I'm not conscious of doing that, because while I'm in person still, I do often speak quietly, and sometimes people will comment to me, will be like leaning in or listening or saying, can you repeat that or speak up a bit because I can't understand what you're saying. And I don't know really why that is, but yeah, I guess it's just part of the self-consciousness of making videos that when I turn a camera on, I will naturally start speaking louder, but then also have a slight nervousness of knowing that everything I'm saying is being recorded, and so wanting to get things right. And I know some YouTubers who are very conscious about this, and so script everything that they say on camera, and so don't make many videos because that is really time consuming. But it is also tricky because then if you're scripting everything you say, then naturally what you say will come out sounding somewhat stilted, and and formal, even if you write it in a way that is more in the natural way that you speak. It's all, and that comes across, I think, for a lot of viewers, and will put off some viewers. But then other viewers are put off when someone is just talking without any edits or any scripting. And so different viewers want different things, and that is totally fine. And I know most of the people that probably watch my videos are aware that I have this little verbal tic, and sometimes it is more evident than other times. Like I said, hopefully it's much less so than it was in the past. I remember the very first video I ever made with Anna, which wasn't on my channel, but was on a other kind of book channel that Anna was working for her job, and she invited me to come on as a guest. And that video had to be edited so much because I was saying literally every other word that I was saying, because this was my first time being filmed. I was so self-conscious. It was terrifying, and I really wanted to get what I was saying right. But then this verbal tic of mine just came up and was so evident throughout the course of this. And most of the time when I'm filming, I'm not conscious that I'm doing this, of saying and I don't think I've done it at all in this video, but maybe when I go back and rewatch this, I will see that I have. I will try not to edit this video at all before putting it up. But yeah, I just wanted to get this out there because, and let everyone know that I am very aware that I have this about myself, and so you don't need to comment, and of course people just come across my videos randomly, and so will comment and won't have seen my other videos or this video, and that is totally fine. But it's just something about me that I can't get over, and also I just want to respond to this because sometimes when I get comments like this, especially if I've had a bad day, and the comment will be kind of going around and around in my head, and it will really get me down sometimes, even though I know I shouldn't let this happen, that it's someone's just being completely honest in their feedback to me. But still, it gets to be a bit of a thing that gets stuck in my head and stops me from doing the thing that I really want to be doing, which is either talking about books or reading books. So I'm gonna go back to reading books now, but thank you for watching me go off about this. And if you have any comments about it, or if you relate to this experience at all, I would love to hear about that in the comments below. But I hope you're doing well and have a lovely day. Bye-bye.